Welcome back to Casual Bias Rugby. France, crown champions. The prediction was actually that Ireland gets a three-peat. But France came there to spoil the party. And we're going to chat all about, not yet a wrap-up of the Six Nations, because we're going to film tomorrow night as well. So you'll see that on Wednesday morning. But we're going to talk about the round that just passed. But before we get into that, Jake, welcome. Jimmy, welcome. How are you boys feeling after your performances of this weekend? Jake, you had a derby. Didn't look like a derby, but it was a derby, and you smoked Wales.
So it's a one-sided derby, Casual. But yeah, I know it was a big game against Wales, and is it a historic? Is it a record loss? It was kind of
Yeah.
You know,
I think I heard the commentators say something about a record loss.
Yeah, it's hilarious to watch, but at the same time, it's a slight bit sad. But never mind.
Don't you ever think, let me just take my foot off the Welsh throats when you film these videos, Jake? You are horrible to them.
But they've brought it on themselves. You know, they've caused me a lot of heartbreak more than any other team in the last 15 years, and I am enjoying the temporary downfall.
Fair enough. Jimmy, how are you feeling after the Irish performance?
Well, it wasn't our best performance by any means. Like, I am still optimistic. No offense to Simon Easterby, but I think he is probably the main reason why we've had a dip in form. I think Andy Farrell gave him a bit more control in the autumn, and then against Italy, I think it could have been a totally different looking scoreline if Crowley got his kicks. No offense to Crowley, I do like him, but like, what was he at off the tee? Like, he was good playmaking wise, but
Jimmy, you and Tiernan both always want to moan when someone says anything about Prendergast. If they just say it was good instead of excellent, you guys want to cry about it. But you jump on every opportunity.
Fair, I did say he was very good playmaking wise, but his kicks really could have made that game look a lot better on the scoreline.
Yeah, but that would have papered over a lot of cracks if the scoreline looked any better.
Yeah.
Because let's actually start with this game, right? Italy versus Ireland. Before we get into that, people, please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Go to each and every one of these two guys and go and subscribe and follow them on TikTok and YouTube and whatever. We just talk shit as rugby fans. So if that's your type of vibe, join us, right? Anyway, 17-22. And no, the scoreline doesn't flatter Ireland, but that was a massive scare because Italy pitched up. Ireland was shaky, literally on the ropes for large parts of the game. It could be one of those situations where, like, you still win the game, you'll take the points or whatever. But there's no way you're a happy Irish fan after that performance, right?
No. Not necessarily happy with the performance by any means. I do think there is still a big hangover from that France game. I think when we lost to the All Blacks, we seen that against Argentina. I think we only beat them by about 3 points. It was a very, very tight game. It was quite similar ending wise to that Italy game. Like, Argentina had a attack and nearly won it in the end. But yeah, it was. You could tell there was a bit of a dip in the performance. Like, I didn't really expect them to come back and put 50 points in Italy. To be honest, I don't think that can happen really in Rome because it always is a bit tighter. But yeah, like, Italy probably had the bulk of the possession, especially in the first half. Like, we didn't really get a chance till at least 25 minutes or so into the game. And yeah, it wasn't the best performance by any means.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that kind of pops to my head, and take it with a little grain of salt because I don't know how to state it any better. But Jake, from an outside perspective, as like kind of a neutral, well, you're not really a neutral. You don't like Ireland, but like you're kind of a neutral. Does it feel like they didn't like it? Feels like the passion in that Irish team has kind of dropped off the past few games, especially if you look at the start that they had. You look at that Italy game, it just didn't feel like they had that fire in their belly. They didn't really pitch up to play. You had the same story against France. You had the same story against Wales. I know, obviously, they have injuries, but it just felt like there was no spirit and fight for the jersey really out there. It was kind of like they already knew France have got it done and dusted.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Casual, I do have my controversial Ireland theory where, because they all play at Leinster all year round, they just come into the Six Nations hot into form. And, you know, you want to play Ireland late on as possible, in my opinion. But they probably do. They probably are slightly more dejected because France are going to win and England will probably beat Wales. And it's Italy. It's playing Italy away. Ultimately, you're not playing the Springboks in Ellis Park. You're always going to be slightly less pumped, I think. But yeah, they still.
But that's why I'm referencing the other two games as well. Like it felt like the same thing.
I don't think. I think Wales is honestly just them being really good that day. France. They were ahead at half time when you were up 8-6 or you down 8-6. It was close. Like we can't just forget all of the first half where it was a really good game and Ireland played well for the first 20 minutes. And then this one, it's a mixed bag. I mean, Italy had 4 injuries and a yellow card and a red card, which really helped Ireland. But then you had 3 disallowed tries. So it's how you look at it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I look at this Ireland team and obviously we all have our opinion on it of celebrating to boring stuff like winning a scrum or a free kick or whatever, right? I'm not saying they didn't do that. It just felt like there was not all of that like they usually do. Or I don't know. They just lost intensity throughout for me. On the other hand, I'm like, well, Italy got beat by their own discipline. This game was there for the taking for Italy, right? Bringing on 3 subs that got sent off again, 2 yellows and a red. And it's all stupidity, big time stupidity. It wasn't even a technicality or anything. Horrible tackle on, who was it?
Keenan, I think.
Yeah, Jurgen Keenan. That was silliness, slapping the ball out of Jamison Gibson Park's hands. And where did the final yellow come from? I can't.
I think it was from coming into a rock and he went and collided heads.
Lamero on the slap and then Ross Vincent high tackle on Keenan.
And then there was a collision in the rock. He went into the rock head first.
That final one,
yeah. Stupid stuff. Italy, you have the chance of a lifetime over here. Ireland's not at the races. You're playing some great rugby. You've got the pressure on them, and you do silly, stupid stuff from that. And especially that one with the silly tap out of the hand, and Ireland go and score from that. There it is, game over.
Yeah. The game. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy.
I think the game, there was a couple of small margins that really could have swung the game in either way. I know I'm not criticizing Crowley by any means, but let's say he got those kicks. Would have been Ireland 28, Italy, 17? And then let's say Italy kept their discipline up. Then it could have been the other way around. It was just a game of small margins, really, and I think we did come out a bit lucky there.
Yeah.
I was trying to think about your question earlier, Casual, about why Ireland dropped off 3 games, and I think something you've not seen this tournament is their standout forwards in particular stand out. I mean, Josh van der Fleer, Doris, Byrne, McCarthy. None of them are being their world class best like they usually are, and I think that's affecting them.
I think the only player that really stood out for Ireland throughout this competition really was Jamison Gibson Park. I spoke to Jimmy earlier, and yeah, Dan Sheehan scored a hat-trick and stuff, but I don't think he was firing at all cylinders. The scrum didn't look too dominant. Tide Byrne, to his standard, right? To his standard, didn't stand out like he usually does. Van der Fleer, Calendar was quiet. Seriously quiet. Yeah. Gibson Park was great. And I mean, the back line didn't really look like it was firing. The attack didn't look like it was firing. That structure, Irish, almost persistent attack, it just felt like we didn't see any of it. So I don't know. It's a strange island that we witnessed in the Six Nations, because I spoke about it on a TikTok video and I was like, they started off the tournament so well. I thought that game against England, they defended well, and then England started defending well, but then Ireland just cruised in that second half and blew England out of the water. I thought they cruised against Scotland, and then to go from there to where it's ended up, it's just what the fuck just happened?
Exactly. Yeah, the break really killed us, I think. You see, after those first 2 games, our momentum just went out of the window completely. When we came back from that break, we just about scraped over the line against Wales. Then we got absolutely spanked by France. I've said stuff about the officiating, but yeah, it was,
by the way.
Yeah, it was a totally below par. Yeah, it was a totally just not good enough performance. If you want to go out and beat France, that's not how you go and play. Then against Italy, we could have easily got beat again. I think, the way you were saying that there's something not firing right for Ireland. I think Andy Farrell's presence is such a big thing in that dressing room, and I think the fact that he hasn't been there, I think you can probably, I think that might be the reason why there's a bit of a dip. Like, and I think for the autumn,
Is
my
he the
theory on
aura
it is,
king? Is it just his aura?
yeah, that's probably one way of putting it like that. But I do think part of like my theory is that Easterby was given a bit more of the reins in the autumn, and that's probably why the form is dipped. No offensive time in Easterby, I think he's a decent coach, but I just don't think he's anywhere near the level of Andy Farrell. But yeah,
That's too simple. That's too simple. You've been raving about Josh van der Fleer for Leinster, and then where is he to Six Nations? He's not being, an enforcer. That's not Simon Easterby's fault. It's got to be something on the players, surely.
I think it is though. Like it can be
Yeah.
that simple at times. Like it could be mental, like a mental thing or psychological.
Yeah, but in the end, Jimmy, I don't want to be too harsh on the coach that's literally just the interim. Like, in the end, those players have played together for the longest time, for
Yeah.
Ireland and for Leinster. And the way that they didn't pitch up, like, they have to take the bulk of the blame in this one.
Yeah.
Because they didn't pitch up. They didn't play rugby. Right? You can see so many glaring mistakes that happen. But anyway, I quickly want to move over to Italy before we move on to the next game. How good is Minicello and Brex? Seriously, what? That is crazy. The lines that Minicello somehow runs every single time is ridiculous. They
Right.
just somehow they always find a way to carve open any team.
Yeah, he's 22 years old. He's got to be the best, under 23 player in the world, by far. Like, other than maybe Lord Finn Smith, he is unreal.
Wow, wow.
No. So, Minicello,
Did you forget about King Sasha?
who? This guy, though.
King Sam.
Bro,
Minicello
don't
is-
start.
No, seriously, he's like a sensation, isn't he? If he's playing for New Zealand or South Africa, you're saying he's going to be the best in the world, best ever.
No, he wouldn't play. Damien Dialinda. He wouldn't play. Damien Dialinda.
Well, New Zealand, that's it.
But it's still.
How old is Briggs? Do you know, Jake?
Oh, he's old. He's like 33.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they'll need to get him another centre partner, but he is outstanding. And then I've mentioned this before. Tommaso Allen is literally just Tomo Ramos. That guy doesn't miss. I swear to fuck, he doesn't miss. Like, I was watching that game, 15 beers deep. I was just like, he's not missing any of these. And he doesn't even look like he's going to miss.
Yeah.
Mate, that was the
Ridiculous.
first game of the weekend. Did you even manage to see the other two games?
I mean, barely, but yeah. It's
Yeah.
part of the reason that I didn't film my match reviews on TikTok, bro.
But yeah, what's the next one then?
Let's actually chat about the derby.
Mm-hmm.
England, Wales. Do you guys remember how much I just begged while I sat here, literally on my knees begging Wales to just show me that game against Ireland was not a one-off performance? It was a fucking one-off performance. That's what it was. Because holy shit, they got blown out of the water. And yes, Wales were not great, right? They were not great. But England was so fucking good. They were so good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm swearing too much. Wait, seriously, how bad Wales were, that's how good England were. And that's what we spoke about, Jake, right? Where it's like, you've got all the talent in the world, just use it. Play some attacking, exciting running rugby, and you can carve open any team. And that's exactly what you did. You absolutely smoked Wales.
Yeah. I mean, Casual, you can beg on your knees all you want, but it doesn't mean you're going to get what you want. England were very good against Wales. And I think what really helped was the fact that England's ball carriers, again, in the forwards, I said that would be a crucial difference. And I think what they got more than against other teams was that sort of go forward ball, which then allows you to go through the backs. Even against the likes of Italy and Scotland, they got smaller packs than us. They still, I think, held back our momentum more than the Welsh did.
Were you happy with Tommy Freeman's shift on outside centre?
Yeah. He's not really tested against the Welsh, I don't think, and he knows Llewellyn. They play in the same league. They'll play each other, but he did okay.
Well, would you want to see it again? Did he do well enough under the circumstances, obviously, to maybe try it out again to see if that could potentially be a future combination? Or would you just say, well, Dingwall was so impressive on inside centre that if Ollie Lawrence comes back, that 13 jerseys is, and you're going Dingwall and Ollie Lawrence?
I honestly don't know how to answer. Like, it could work. Like, it works for Northampton. He plays both for Northampton. I don't know. You saw for the fourth try or third try over the sort of Mitchell, Finsmith, Dingwall, Freeman link up, and they interchange and stuff. It works, but if Ollie Lawrence is back, you might want to play him in his best position still.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I just think it's a interesting discussion, especially knowing Fabo Boso is coming back. Like, imagine you play like that and you're adding Fabo Boso to that as well. Jimmy, I know you're not a big fan of England, but surely you have to give them some credit in terms of that performance. You have to.
Like Wales had the bulk of the possession. Like, as soon as they made a mistake, England were right on it and they're right up the other end scoring a try. That England attack was probably the most potent attack I've seen so far in this championship. Like, they were just very good. Like, and I think that side has a lot of potential, really. Like, even look at Henry Pollock coming on, scoring 2 tries on his debut. But yeah, like, it was a great performance. But I think Wales had all the ball, just couldn't get over the line, really. Like, it was just a very, very poor performance. Like, it's a dark day for them, really. Like, it was, but yeah, England, I'd say. I didn't miss the arrogant English fans, but yeah, they're playing some good rugby.
But if you put up a performance like that in a derby where you kind of know Wales would have been up for it, right? Because if full contact, where's it now? Get us into that dressing room of Wales right before the game, you'd see a fired up Wales. So to still put up a performance like that, literally answering all the prayers that we had before it. Playing beautiful rugby, defensively pretty sound as well. Clinical. That was the big thing that I took away from it. It was like any opportunity, any sniff, and you went in. The forwards did their job. The bench did their job. Cunningham South came on, right? Like, he came on at the start and then he went off and came back on, right? Was that for HIA?
Yeah, he was on quite early, wasn't he?
I can't remember now.
But he's him scoring 2 tries, Henry Pollock scoring a try. Just like
scored 2, I think. Henry Pollock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got 2.
Yeah, you're right. That just tells you the impact from the bench, even. That Henry Pollock is a player.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's scary. And he's English. Off the top of my head, like 6 of the 10 tries.
Jake bragged about him being English because he doesn't have a lot of English players in his English team.
Well, he is also Scottish qualified, so.
Is he?
Yeah, he's Scottish qualified. I think one of his parents is Scottish.
Now he's got to wait 4 years because he ran out for England.
Yeah.
Well, he'd have to fall off a cliff to do that. Anyway, I think 6 of the 10 tries at least were all scored from the forwards, which just shows the sort of power game we had.
Yeah. Anyway,
I want to talk about something. I'm going to talk. I want you to talk about George Ford off the bench. And I don't think he had to play this game because you don't need a third 10, but no one is talking about it. He was fantastic off the bench. His passing was really, really good. Set up tries just from his sort of pass assists. And you hate George Ford. I don't know which way I'm pointing, but talk about him.
Who are you pointing to? To Jimmy?
You. No, you. I'm pointing to you.
Oh, wow. You came on when Wales were already 50 points down. What did you think is going to happen? Right? When the grooves, everything's clicking, whatever. No, I'm kidding. It was fine, right? Like, it was fine. The point is, he's not going to play in that 10 jersey. That's Finn Smith or Marcus Smith. My opinion, still Marcus Smith, right? Like, I love Marcus Smith, but Finn Smith has been absolutely sensational. But I'll give him credit in terms of, like, he played well when he came on. But he didn't stand out for me like the other bench did, well, the forwards that came on. But yeah, I'll give him the credit he probably deserves. So, fair. Did you want anything more, Jake?
No, you can talk.
Okay, fair enough. Do we want to chat about Wales, or do we just kind of want to give them a break?
Yeah, I think they've had enough criticism recently, I think.
Yeah. That was just, it's 18 in a row. Like, that's...
It's a record, isn't it?
Is that a record?
Yeah, 17 test losses in a row was like the record. It was 16 before the match, and they had equaled it, I think.
Are
And
they
they
the San
surpassed it.
Marino of football now?
Yeah, they are. They're like the San Marino rugby team. Like they're. I know we can't say that about them. They pulled us very close. So
Do you remember that record of San Marino? It was ridiculous.
they've won like twice now, haven't they?
Yeah, but they did. They won like twice in like 3 games or something.
I think
Except for
San
Parma.
Marino rugby team would beat this Welsh rugby team, to be honest. But
Oh, we gotta feel
Oh,
bad for the Welsh.
No, let's take our foot off the gas. Poor Wales. For them, obviously, they have to build now. The Gatlin era is done. Get your coaching that you feel you want to build with. Get your players that you want to build with. And then just take it from there. Like, this is going to be a long rebuild, but you have to do what needs to be done. It is as simple as that.
I don't think there's anything to talk about the Welsh from that game, but there was the night before because their under-20s ruined England's under-20 Six Nations, but did win, which is something good for the future, at least for the Welsh.
Yeah, you actually
beat
made
us
a
too.
video about that. You actually made a video about that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, that was. We would have
You
won
just
a Grand
did that as
Slam
a
and
charity
lost to
thing.
Wales.
That is the equivalent of Sam Prendergast getting that man of the match performance after our good Jamison Gibson Park was. It was literally a
Come
charity
on,
thing.
Prendergast was like it was either going to be Prendergast, Byrne, or Gibson Park.
Okay. France versus Scotland. Oh, Jake, be honest. Did you have a little hope when you saw it's a 3-point game?
Just a tiny bit after, especially when that try at half time before it was disallowed. You're thinking, oh, please.
The podium was out at the Principality, so the podium was out. Yeah, so
I know. And you see like the Welsh ground staff like taking it down and cheering or something.
Bro, I fell asleep while watching this game. The 15 beers knocked me out then. I was like, bro, I was out of it.
Mm-hmm.
15 beers and a pizza. Hey?
How far did you get through?
Bro, like probably 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Oh, no. No,
Yeah.
it's really good though.
I just remember I was like laying in bed with the TV on and my phone like vibrated because of you fools on the group chat, just like keep on spamming messages. And I was like, nah, bro, I put my phone on the ground because it was annoying me. I just went to go and sleep even further. But I mean, France overall champions, they in the end, they deserve it, right? Because if you look at the tournament as a whole, they've been very good. It's tough to find where they struggled a bit. You look at the players like Gregory Aldry was unstoppable this tournament. Mofana was sensational. I mean, DuPont was great, and then he got injured against Ireland, and then Luke, who comes on and plays like he didn't even get criticized last year. Like, where was there really any gaps in this French team? You're looking even that game against England, right, with obvious try scoring opportunities that they missed. On another day, that's a different scoreline, and then let's say they were clinical, right? Let's say they scored 2 out of that 5 butchered opportunities. You're thinking, well, how do you beat this French team unless you're the Springboks?
Yeah, they're scary looking. Like the scoreboard was like an average of 45 points in the tournament. If it wasn't for that England game where they kept dropping the ball, like that would have been a very, very dominant win, really.
Yeah. Jake, why are you shaking your head, Jake?
Well, it wasn't a dominant win. It was a defensive masterclass from.
No, he was talking about if they won that, it would have been a very dominant Six Nations victory.
They were missing that Untamak as well that game because of the red card. So.
Oh yeah, because he shouldered someone in the face.
Yeah. But how did Ringrose? How was he allowed to play his Italy game? Sorry, just go back.
Because
outrageous.
he was eligible for the Leinster match because he would they used the Leinster match as a part of his ban because Leinster are probably a lot more likely to pick Ireland players and Toulouse are to pick France players.
That's the
and it wasn't as bad of a tackle.
That's bullshit.
It was worse.
It was the maximum.
No,
was
we're not
actually
going to start.
insane.
No, we're not going to start, Jimmy.
All right, okay. But the French did dispute it and all, and there was talk about that.
No, but it's fair that they use the Leinster games, but then they should have used the Toulouse games as well, because there's
Yeah,
really not a lot of rugby international games. So for a
yeah,
guy to miss, for instance, like 6 games, I mean, I just go back to, for instance, the Jasper Wiese one, right? If you want to ban him, right? But in terms of like, you just picked the guy up and literally dropped him like 6 games. Imagine if that had to be all. Well, it was all internationals because there was no club rugby, right? It felt like you miss him a full year because of that. That is ridiculous. That is
I
crazy.
thought it was just a penalty when I first saw it.
Yeah, but that's my point, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, fine, fuck it, screw it, put in the franchise games. It is what it is, because these fools
school
don't know
too.
how long to ban a guy, because it's ridiculous.
That send them to tackle school to get like a game off the ban.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think about the Scottish performance in this one?
First half was very good. I thought it was high quality rugby from both sides in the first half. Scotland were playing very fast pace. I thought people are criticizing Finn Russell. I thought he's actually very good against France.
All the English boys in that Scottish team really wanted England to win the Six Nations, so they played their heart out.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, Finn Russell started like trying dodgy things in the second half, but only because they were like 2 scores down and he needed to force it. You know, first half he was quite assured, and yeah, Scotland were doing really well. They were like 3 points behind at half time and could have been ahead if like Kinghorn wasn't just out in touch, like just.
Yeah, I don't like this thing where it's like, I'm not a massive fan of Finn Russell, right? I've said it multiple times that I think is slightly overrated and stuff. But this thing where every time Scotland loses a game, people pile on Finn Russell, and I don't know why. Right, like Finn Russell is not the reason that they conceded 35 points. Like seriously, like he's one guy, but let's not act like that Scottish team is also full of talent. Like I thought they put up a good performance. If you look at the way that France have played the Six Nations, it's a solid performance to be 3 points down. Right? Did they play in Paris? Yeah.
Yeah.
To still only be 3 points down in a game that you know means a lot to France, and you pitch up like that, that's commendable. But like, I don't see a reason to really knock Scotland, because let's be realistic. Did anyone predict Scotland or think Scotland's going to pull it off? No, but they sure as hell put up a fight for it. So just get off Russell's back, chill out for a bit. You put up a good performance. I think Scotland should be more disappointed with how the rest of the Six Nations went, and the fact that it went the same as it goes every year. The fact that it's every year the same thing, that's a problem, and something needs to change. Like, that is my point of view.
Actually worse this year because they didn't beat England.
Yeah. How many games they win? Two. Dreadful.
Yeah, they beat Italy and Wales, wasn't it?
Yeah, but if you look at it, right, like they let Italy come back into the game. People were talking about them maybe beating Ireland, but then they got kind of just handled there. Yeah, like it was an easy performance in the end by Ireland. Should have beat England with the way that they were playing, but just the English defense held up, and they would have probably backed themselves to do it if you. That was kind of the game that they were like, okay, well, we have to win this. We've beat them 4 times in a row now, right? If you want to kick on, you got to keep on beating those teams. Didn't do that either. The performance against Wales weren't great, and then they performed decently against France. So I wouldn't look at this one too much, more as like how the tournament went on, and say, well, we've got a brilliant team. We're looking at a good few guys that could possibly go into that British and Irish Lions team, but something needs to change in this national team, because we need to set the standard higher. There's a lot. The expectations of this team is a lot higher than what they're performing at. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, in this game and throughout the tournament, but in this game they were missing some big players. Like they don't have the depth of France, and the French bench really like told in the second half. But they're missing the likes of Carl Steyn, Scott Cummings, Sion Tuipulotu, Andy Onyama Christie. That's a lot of depth they're losing out on, to be fair to them.
No, of course, but I mean, the Irish also had a lot of injuries and stuff, but we didn't blame them the whole time. You can't blame it the whole time. They played together long enough to still perform better than this.
Yeah, but I mean, in that specific game, it was like the subs that really let them down, isn't it? It was like the French, they just got so much depth. They could put like 3 teams out, and they'll compete with most teams in the world in a way.
Yeah. Fair. I don't want to pile on Scotland either. The Six Nations has teed up the Autumn Nations at the end of the year very nicely, by the way.
Mm.
Like all of a sudden, that French Springbok clash, that's going to be massive. As a Springbok, holy shit. If the Irish don't pick up their game, we finally have to break that voodoo and beat Ireland at the Viva. Holy shit. This is unforgiving if we lose again. Like, seriously. We're not playing England, right? No, we're playing Italy and Wales again. What's England's Autumn Nations games?
Oh, I think
New Zealand again.
Australia, New Zealand, and it's either like Japan or something, or Fiji. I'm pretty sure.
Jake, surely your expectation would be that they have to keep playing this brand of rugby and really put it on the teams, like balls to the wall.
I don't know. I don't really care. We're playing Argentina in the summer. That's what I'm focused on. I don't care about autumn right now. It's 6 months away. There's club rugby. There's Lions. Not thinking about it right now.
When are you playing Argentina?
In the summer tour. Because of the France are playing New Zealand and England are playing Argentina. It's going to be like a B or C team because the best players will be in the Lions. But
that's why I was so confused now. I was like, because that's at the same time as the British and Irish Lions. Okay.
Yeah, all the countries go on tour still. Like Ireland are going down to Romania and Georgia. And I think is it like Scotland or Wales are going down to the Pacific Islands or something, isn't it?
Do you reckon you get a victory, Jimmy?
Against Georgia and Romania.
Yeah.
I'd say we'll win by about 3 points if under Easterby. So.
A Kieran Frawley drop goal back in the team.
Another Frawley masterclass.
I don't think any Irish people make the Lions after that performance, so probably their first team.
No, Jamison Gibson Park still does. By the way, let's quickly discuss it. The 4 nominees has come out for player of the tournament. And I think it's a damn shame that Jamison Gibson Park has not got the nomination. Because he still got like 3 out of 4 man of the matches or 3 out of 5 man of the matches. Could have got that charity case one that I mentioned with Sam Prendergast as well. He was amazing this Six Nations. How did he not make it? Right? Because Tommy Freeman should have been there. He's been great. I mean, scored a try in every single one of the games. Has there been someone that's done that before, Jake?
Not for England. But I think that was before, yeah.
Okay. Louis Beret should have been there. He was phenomenal. Wow, he was good.
Yeah, he'll probably win it.
Yeah, most likely. He deserves it. Minoncello was great. Kinghorn was great, but either Minoncello or Blair Kinghorn, in my opinion, should have dropped out for Jamison Gibson Park.
But I just made a TikTok on it. How's Tom Curry not in this? Tom Curry surely not in there. There's not a single forward in that nominations. Biased.
Yeah, that's not great, is it?
Who would have been your 4 nominees, Jake?
BLBRA and Curry are my top 2. I don't know after that. Probably Kinghorn and who's Kinghorn or Gibson Park or Kinghorn and Menoncello, yeah, maybe. Or Francois Cross are quite good for France, maybe. I don't know.
Aldry, Mofana?
Yeah.
No. None of them are over. Curry and BLBRA are my top 2. That's all I care about.
Yeah, my bad. I completely forgot about Curry. He has to be in there as well. He's like a shout to actually win it.
Oh, yeah.
Someone has the clip here, the way he was speaking about Tom Curry before this tournament. And we just
I was reasonable too, because like the Wayland, like our back row was performing beforehand. Like Josh Van der Fleer was absolutely
Jake
unbelievable.
meant to point at me, but he pointed to Jimmy and Jimmy felt so offended.
Yeah, because I thought he was talking about how like when we were doing like a Lions team or something, or like I think we were talking about it.
Jimmy's face was just like, well, I mean,
on my screen, you're here. So yeah, I mean, CasualBiasRugby, the way you were talking about Tom Curry before the tournament, disgraceful.
Yeah, but like, it wasn't unreasonable. I backed it on what I've seen.
Oh, he's just been injured.
No, bro, I'm pretty sure you see 2 of them. You probably confused Tom Curry and Ben Curry a lot.
Yeah.
He was good as well.
No, yeah, he was great. He was
who would you, if you have to give the award to one player, who would you give it to? Casual first.
Bill Beret. I think in terms of the maturity that he's shown, the growth that he's shown, in terms of just being this young speedster on the wing, where he's like kind of creating as well. He scored some crazy tries, gets involved in the game. He's pretty physical for a smallish guy. Like he gets stuck in. And the fact, obviously, that they won it and he was instrumental to it, breaking the record as well. And combine all of that.
Stock, yeah.
It's probably fair enough that it goes to Louis Bill Beret, but second has to go to Tom Curry. My bad that I just forgot about him, but he was that good. Every game, I was like, now I see what people are talking about, which is fair enough. I don't mind people proving me wrong in terms of I like seeing good rugby. He played sensational rugby this Six Nations, which is great.
Yeah.
He's gone from wit canned to player of the tournament. Jimmy, who you say?
Yeah. I think, of course, BLBR, like number one, took Jacob Stockgoat's record, sadly. But he's still not better than 2018 Stockdale, I'll tell you that. I'll die on that hill. But yeah, BLBR by far the best player in the tournament, I'd say. Curry probably in there too. I know Castle disagreed with me saying that Gibson Park would be in over Sheehan, but yeah, I think 5 tries as a forward, it's just probably tough to not put in. He got robbed of a nomination last year. He was joint top scorer, so I'd say have to have him in there for me. Then maybe you could even go for.
I could have agreed, but not this year. He played most of the games off the bench anyway.
Yeah, because he was coming back from the ACL.
Exactly, and he scored most of his tries behind the back of the maul. You can agree, right? He wasn't bad. Like he wasn't bad, but to Dan Sheehan standards, that was not the Dan Sheehan that you knew.
Depends on the game, I think. Against Scotland and Wales,
exactly, but the other guys didn't depend on the game that they played. They were great every game.
Yeah, you could even go for Tommy Allen or Ramos as well in there, even with the way they've both been kicking in the tournament. Like Ramos, and I don't barely seen them miss at all in the tournament, if I'm being honest.
Jake doesn't agree.
I'm not having Tommy Allen as fucking player of the tournament. Come on.
Not best player of the tournament, I'm just saying as nominee. Nominee.
Because
of the way he's been kicking.
Not in the top.
I said either him or Ramos. Probably go for Ramos then.
No, they got fucking 75 put on them. I'm not having 2.
All right, I'll go Ramos then because he did. I don't think he missed. I think he's only missed like about 2 or 3 kicks in the whole tournament.
Yeah, he was great. He's such a. Do you still say underrated for when someone is the second best fullback in the world? Like
who'd you put ahead of him?
Damien Willemse.
Jesus.
I think his kicking helps a lot because he can play a 10 as well. So like he
was great. He's great. He's so underrated in terms of the French team. He's a secure boot, creativity. He doesn't really miss tackles. Right.
Ollie Lawrence.
No.
What?
He missed the game and a half.
No, I mean he missed a tackle on Ollie Lawrence. Is that made the famous edit? It was like, get off, man. Thomas who?
Okay.
Well, I haven't seen it, so it's not that famous, is it?
Wow.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up. Boys, thank you for joining. Everyone, please remember to go to 24-hour rugby Jake and Jimmy Knows Rugby. TikTok, YouTube, boost them, help them out. And we will see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Ciao. Bye-bye.